Well, more now on our top story, the failure of the stress test by German bank Hypo Real Estate. Well, people familiar with the results say that the lender has been shown to have too few reserves to survive another economic slowdown or a sovereign debt meltdown. Hypo specialises in commercial property and public finance lending. Our sources say it will probably be the only German bank to fail the test. Well, this certainly isn't the first time that Hypo has found itself in trouble. It was bailed out by the Bundesbank during the financial crisis, and 1 year later, Germany was compelled to nationalise it altogether. Just to recap, 91 institutions are undergoing the tests. They represent 65% of Europe's entire banking industry. Spain has the most banks being tested, with 27 institutions coming under the microscope. In second place is Germany, home to Hypo Real Estate. It's just one of 14 lenders in the country under scrutiny. Well, to take us through the tests and moreover the results of them, we are joined now by Professor Richard Portes from London Business School. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Andrea.
How do you feel about this? The fact, first of all, that Hypo has failed the test may not be that surprising. Perhaps what's more surprising is that we know about it so early.
I think it's disgraceful that we know about it so early, if indeed we know about it. These leaks, and it's not just from Germany or from sources in Germany, you have the very excellent governor of the Bank of Italy, who is also president of the Financial Stability Board, telling us that the Italian banks will be fine. Yeah. He shouldn't be saying anything. These results are supposed to come out on Friday evening. They should come out together. They should come out in a coordinated way. This is just one more illustration of the lack of coordination, the lack of discipline that the authorities have shown in this exercise.
The whole reason for these stress tests, part of the reason was to give investors confidence to be able to show clarity and transparency. We don't even know exactly what the tests are going to involve, and yet we seem to know the results.
Again, just disgraceful. You're absolutely right, and let's hope that when they do announce the results on Friday evening, that they tell us exactly how they got to them, because only then will the markets be able to interpret this. We want to know what were the parameters.
If we don't hear that, do you feel that they will lack credibility and indeed perhaps not do the job they were supposed to do?
I think in that case they would really be counterproductive, because the markets would react and say they've got something to hide. That's what everybody's afraid of.
How tough do you think they are? I mean, no one seems to think they're as rigorous as they could be, but where do they seem to fall on the scale?
Well, we could always make worst-case assumptions. In a sense, that's what stress tests are about, worst-case assumptions, but realistic worst-case assumptions. So what I think the main area for debate here and discussion is what assumptions are made about holdings of sovereign debt, and in particular sovereign debt in the challenged countries.
Yeah, and what do you think so far? I mean, we've heard that they're discounting the Greek sovereign debt. That's something much less than a lot of analysts think that it really should be.
Well, there's a difference between taking the market price of the debt and the haircut that implies, and a haircut that would be imposed if there were actually a restructuring of the debt. If there were a restructuring of the Greek debt, it would probably, the resulting haircut would probably be greater than the 15, 16, 17% or even less that people are talking about now.
Now, what do you think is going to happen to banks that fail this test? I mean, we've already been told that Hypo Bank is going to fail, but it's okay because Germany is going to pick up the pieces as they've done before. Is that what you think we're going to hear across the board?
Well, the banks that fail, but failing is supposed to mean you need further capital. And you've got two choices. Either let the bank actually fail, three choices. Let the bank fail, amalgamate it with some other more healthy bank, which is not necessarily a sensible thing to do, or use government funds to recapitalize it. Sorry, fourth choice. You could try to get market funding for these banks. That's going to be very difficult in present circumstances, much more difficult than it was for the U.S. banks when they did this exercise over a year ago, as we in Europe should have done at the same time.
Richard Portes, thank you very much indeed. We will await with bated breath Friday's results. Thanks for that.